Hello, 7 East receiving students and teachers.
Hello, Miss Godwa.
Thank you. Take your seats. Okay, receiving students and the model class. We are going to go back to what we have learned in our last lesson. Receiving students, I'd like you to tell your teacher what is the difference between a simple leaf and a compound leaf. Or how can you tell the difference between a simple leaf and a compound leaf? Tell your teachers, receiving students. Right, the model class, let's hear from one of you. Receiving students, I hope you are telling your teacher what is the difference between a compound leaf and a simple leaf. Daisy? Right, while Daisy is still thinking, let's have Isaac. Isaac? Anybody in Isaac's group that would want to help Isaac?
A simple leaf arranged on one stem and a compound leaf are leaves that arrange oppositely.
Right, good try. Thank you, Isaac. Cullen?
Simple leaves have leaf blade. Compound leaves have blades divided into two.
Right, thank you for that answer. Right, have a look at this picture here. Okay, the picture shows the two different types of leaves, a simple leaf and a compound leaf. All right, I have a leaf here. Do you think this is a simple leaf or a compound leaf? Right, it is a simple leaf because it has only one whole leaf, and this whole leaf, this part of the leaf is called the blade. Okay. This is called the blade of the leaf. Okay, simple leaf, a simple leaf is a whole leaf. Okay. Whereas a compound leaf, okay, a compound leaf has many leaves, leaflets on the petiole, right? Petiole, I mean, this is called a petiole. Many leaves, okay, many leaflets on the petiole. Okay. So that is the difference between a simple leaf and a compound leaf. Is that clear, class? Okay, receiving students, I hope you have given good answers to your teacher about the difference between a compound leaf and a simple leaf. So to be more simple, a simple leaf is a whole leaf, whereas a compound leaf are many leaves on a petiole. All right, class, you were told in your last lesson to bring samples of plants, and I hope you have brought those plants. And you were told to uproot some kinds of weeds or grasses. You were to bring carrots and some other plants that you think your teacher can ask you to bring. All right, I'd like you to have a look at the plants that you have brought with you. Class, in your groups, you are going to tell each other, look at a plant that you have brought and try to identify where is the stem of that plant that you are looking at. Or all the plants that you have brought, I'd like you to look at that and try to find where is the stem. I'll give you less than a minute to do that, to go through in your groups discussing and finding out where the stem is on the plants that you have brought. All right, we'll find out from one group. Let's have a look at group number 3, Samuel's group. Did you choose a plant, or you have a couple of plants on your table? Tell us, choose one plant and point to it and show the class where the stem is. Give the name of the plant if you can. Okay, Samuel, which one did you look at?
This creeping plant and the stem is here.
Okay, good. Samuel, what makes you think that that is the stem of that weed or that plant that you have?
Because all the leaves are sticking from the same branch.
All right, good. Thank you for that answer. Now, that is Samuel's idea of where the stem is. Receiving students, I hope you have also identified the stem of the plants that you have brought with you. All right, class, we are on the same strand, which is living things, and the sub-strand is nature of living things. Our outcome is 7.1.2. Identify and compare the basic structure of living things and how they allow them to function in their environment. And class, our topic for today's lesson is hairy, sticky, smooth, or shiny. Now, do you think we have hairy, sticky, smooth, or shiny stems? All right. Keep your answers with you, receiving students and the model class. I'd like you to think and try to identify some stems that you have seen around your school or you have come across that you think are shiny, sticky, smooth, or hairy. If you can look at your plants that you have brought. Right, let's begin with what we have to do for today's activity. Class, let's read activity A1A together.
Discuss and classify the plants according to the structure of their stem.
Letter B.
Choose one plant, sketch it, and label the stem.
Right, so in your workbook, page 12, for those students who have workbooks from the receiving schools, your exercise is on page 12. You have a space there for you to sketch the picture and a table to complete later on. But we will go through activity 1, A and B first. Any questions on A exercise, activity 1, activity A? Sorry, letter A. Okay. So now I'd like you to group your plants according to the structure of the stem. When you put them together, you must discuss why you are putting them in those groups. Once you have done that, you just choose one plant and sketch it and label them. Okay, let's see our grouping here. Have we started grouping already? Okay. You must know why you are putting them in each of those groups. What is the difference? Once you have done that, you go on to sketching it. Okay, have we started grouping? Start grouping the plants according to the stems. Which one belongs to which group? Yeah. Did we start grouping? Once you have done that, you start sketching, not sketching before grouping. You must now classify or put them in groups. Which plants have the same stem in the same group and which ones in the other group. You look at the stem. Good. Which is okay. Once you've done that, just go on sketching. Good. So you have this. How many groups altogether? So you think these two are together? Why? What's wrong with them? You can go on sketching. Choose one and sketch it in the exercise book. You already grouped. Okay, you choose one and okay, you put them in their groups according to their stem. Wait, stem. Where do you think the stem of the taro is? Taro plant. Alright, that's where you think that is the stem. Alright, every one of us should be now sketching a plant. Out of all the plants that you have brought, they are now in their groups. You choose one and sketch it in your exercise book or your workbook. Okay. It's a greens that we eat, so we just say alpha. It's alpha. If we say greens, we're talking about many kinds of greens. So we be specific and say alpha. Alright, when you are sketching, please you use a pencil and make sure you label the stem of the plant that you are sketching. How many of us have finished? Where do you think the stem of the taro is? Alright. Less than a minute to go before I I stop you. We have one more activity to do. All right, let's see how many of us are finished. All right, you will have to label the stem of the plant that you are sketching. Don't forget to do that. All right, I'll stop you now. We will go to group number 1, class, and see how they have grouped or classified their plants according to the structure of the stem, or how those plants, the stem look like. The group have decided to put those plants in those groups to see that they all have the same stem, or the stem is arranged in a way that the others look alike. All right, we look at group number 1, and somebody in group number 1 will tell us why you have, how many groups you have, and why you have put those plants in those groups. What? Okay, sorry, correction there. We'll see group number 6. Their first activity 1A. Okay, tell us how many groups you have and why you have arranged those plants in those groups. Pass the mic. Okay, thank you, Daisy. How many groups?
We group the plants in 3, and this is rolling plant. We can see the stems clearly. This one we can, and this one we can see the stem.
All right, thank you. So that group, they came up with 3 groups, and this is how they have classified their plants. Crawling plants, that they can see the stem clearly. That's first group. Second group, the plants that they cannot see the stem clearly, and you can see that they are grass, some kind of grass. And the third one, they say the stem can be seen clearly also, but it is not, the plants are not crawling plants, they grow upright. Okay, so that's how they have classified their plants according to the structure of the stem. Receiving students, I hope you have the same, or you have some good answers to give to your teacher. All right, next activity, which is letter B, you are to sketch. We will see someone sketch in the class. You will have to show your picture to the receiving students and the model class, and also tell us where the stem is. Who is ready in the class? Quickly, come on, model class. Alan, have you finished? Did you label the stem? Let's have, what's her name? Donald.
This plant I drew, it's greens that we eat, and we normally call it aupa. And as you can see, this is the stem.
All right. Class, give him one big clap. All right. So aupa, it's easy to see where the stem is. Let's see a picture of another student who have drawn a weed or a grass, and let's find out where the stem is. Or a taro plant if you have. Let's have the student on that side. Melvin, thank you. Show your picture. Give us the name and tell us where the stem is. Show us the plant, the real plant first.
This is a taro plant, and I drew it in my worksheet book, and its stem is smooth, and sometimes big ones we use it to eat. And this is the stem of the plant.
All right, so that's Malvin's picture. Give him one big clap. And that is where he thinks the stem is. All right, class, sitting up straight. Let's go back. In your previous lesson, you have looked at the parts of the plant, and we know that a stem is the part of the plant from which shoots and buds grow. Is that right? That is one function of the stem. Let me write it down. Okay, it is part of a plant in which shoots or buds arise or they grow. Do you think that we find stems underground as well? Do you think we have underground stems? Stems that grow underground? Along the ground, above the ground? All right, so some answers are yes, some answers are no. We will find out in today's lesson of some examples of stems, right? The plants that we have brought, we cannot see the stems easily because they are very small, whereas if you talk about a tree, you can see the stem easily. And let's go to some examples of stems. Having in mind that stem is a part of a plant which shoots and buds grow or they arise. All right, class, having a look here. This is an example of a stem which is called stolons. Okay, stolons are slender. Another word for slender is narrow or thin stems, and they are found especially in grasses, right? And they run above or below the ground, and usually these stems confuse us as roots. Remember, stems, it's where buds and shoots arise. New plants grow from the stem. So that's an example of a stem which is called stolons. As I am explaining through, I'd like you to also look at your plants, okay, your real plants that you have brought. All right, let's go on to another example. Okay, ginger, and we have another example of a grass. And ginger, and this picture of a grass shows examples of stems that we call rhizomes. Okay. Rhizomes, many stems growing alongside or underground from plant center. Example, sugar cane. Okay, sugar cane or ginger, right? And ginger is another example of rhizome, right? Okay, I have an example here. Okay, this is a grass. Okay. It's an example of a rhizome. Why? Because it grows alongside the ground, and you can see that the nodes have shoots, and new plants or new shoots grow from where the nodes are. Okay. And you think about sugarcane. Sugarcane is an example of that kind of stem, right? Good. Let's have a look at some more examples of different kinds of stems. Okay, this quick grass and Johnson grass, those are examples of rhizomes. They grow alongside the ground and underground. Right. The next example of a stem is called tubers, and example of the plant is potato and yam. Okay. This stem grows underground and it stores food. Okay. So if you're eating a potato, don't think that it's a root. It's not a root, it's a stem that stores food. Why it is called a stem is because new plants can grow from this one. Is that true? Shoots can grow from here, buds. You can see buds and new shoots. Therefore, it is a stem and known as tuber. Okay. Right? How about a carrot? Do you think this is a stem or a root? All right. Do you think new shoots grow out from here, from the carrot? All right. You will find out more about carrot. It's a root stem in your next coming lessons about why it's not called a tuber. It doesn't come under this group called tuber. Right. Next example, we have cactic. And I'm sure every one of you have seen this plant. Receiving schools, I think you have grown this plant near your classroom or in your school. And this plant, this kind of stem is called water storing stems. They are pines, they have pines instead of leaves. They don't have leaves, they have pines. Spines, and they store water. All right. Your next activity, you are going to take this for homework. You're going to do this activity for homework, but we will go through one example together in class, and then you will do the rest. You are going to do this as a group activity. Now, we will use taro as an example. In here, you will choose 1, 2, 3, 4. You will choose 4. Okay, let's say taro here. Name of the plant is taro. Example of the stem is tuber. Right? How does it look like? You describe how it looks like. How does it grow? You write down how it grows and where does it grow. Does it grow in the water, or does it grow in a muddy soil, or where does it grow? Right? Next example, you think of a name of a plant. Example of the stem. Does it come under rhizome, water storing stem, stolon? Okay. And then you go on answering the rest of the questions. I will not answer this because it's quite simple for you to do. I will only start you with these two. So receiving students, your teacher will help you to complete this for homework. We will correct this exercise in the next lesson. All right? Let's get ready for our summary for today's lesson. Right, but before we go through the summary, you will look at your plants again, and we will see where the stems are and also refer back to the definition of stem to help you identify the stem of those weeds that you have brought. Right, we have two summary points. First point, a plant stem is part of the plant from which shoots and buds arise. Second summary point, different stems of plants are structured uniquely for adaptation and survival. Not all plants have the same stem. Class, our next lesson, our key phrase for today's lesson is plant stems. Next lesson, lesson number 3 on hairy, sticky, smooth or shiny. We will still be looking at stems. So, receiving teachers, please make sure that the same plants are used again and you emphasize in your non-TV class of the different kinds of stem variations. Materials needed: garlic, onion, cacao, runners, and vines or creeping plants. If you have any creeping plants, please bring them along with you. With that, thank you class for your participation in today's lesson.